My first clue was, I was holding a diaper in my left hand and it fell out of my hand. And so that was my first clue that something wasn't right. And then I tried to hold my water bottle in my left hand or something later in the day and couldn't do that either, so. I didn't feel like just left hand weakness was a reason to think that I was having a stroke. But I kind of kept waiting for my face to droop or my speech to slur, and none of that ever happened. And then in the middle of the night, I got up to go to the bathroom and collapsed on the floor. So that's when we realized we needed to call 911. So we called one of our good friends who lives less than a mile away from us. So she came over and then we called 911 to make sure that we had somebody to stay with our daughter. I realized something wasn't right, and so I told my husband, I'm like, something's really not right. I think when we found out the official diagnosis was a stroke, we were all shocked as a family and still slightly in denial, I guess. What and how? I'm 37 years old. Cardiac issues run in my family, but stroke never had. With it being COVID era, I couldn't see anybody, including my daughter. Any visitors I had would come and stand outside my window. So that was the only plus, was that at least I had a ground floor room. And my cousin is a good artist, and so he started drawing pictures on my window. I was terrified because at that point I couldn't walk. So I was like, okay, what is this life gonna look like? You have a daughter that's just over a year old, and now I've had a stroke and I can't walk. So am I ever gonna be able to take care of my daughter again?
When I first met Jen, or when I first heard that Jen was coming, we always get an email that hey, this is our prospective admit, this is when they're hopeful to come. And I just remember reading wow, she's really young. She's only a few years younger than me, and that's crazy. And so I knew from the get-go, kind of when she came, that I felt like we were gonna get along really well and that I could help motivate her and think about, things that I'd wanna work on in therapy, how I would probably relate to her and her milestones. And when she first came to On With Life, I probably don't exactly remember the first transfer out of bed or how that looked, but I remember hearing that she was a young mom, and I can relate too because I have young kids, and just really having to tailor the therapy and be wow, okay, your first not that your important job is to get better in rehab, but you're also a mama, and how can we incorporate that into the therapies? And how can I get you back being with your husband and your daughter?
Some of the therapists even tried to make a dummy baby, more or less. And I would walk around they have a Target cart, and so you'd walk around with the Target cart and it had the stuffed baby in the front. So probably one of the best things I like about On With Life is they do push you pretty hard, but without that push pretty hard, I wouldn't be where I am now. I wouldn't be up walking, chasing my 4-year-old, and I wouldn't be driving. So it's a very good balance. They're all right, what are your goals? And last time, my physical therapy goal was to keep up with my 4-year-old. So we did a lot of treadmill work, trying to work on my speed.
Is she gonna have to live 60 plus years, 70 plus years now dealing with the recovery or deficits from her stroke, but also thinking about what she also wants to accomplish in her life.
And just being able to be with my family and spend time with my family face to face was huge for mental health, because I already was terrified, scared of what this new normal was. And so to actually be able to spend time with my family made a huge difference for my mental health.
I don't think Jen ever told us no. She was so determined, stubborn for the good in therapy sessions, and also very motivated. And so she was often if you're gonna tell me I'm gonna be here this long, I'm gonna prove to you that I don't need to be, and I'm gonna work 10 times harder to get home faster. She was willing to come down and do the hard things because she knew it was gonna help her 10% more.
But if I wouldn't have pushed, it would have been a massive heart attack that probably would have killed me with where the blockages were, so. I'm all about listen to your body, advocate for yourself, push, 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 It doesn't matter your age. It matters about your family history and getting those tests done and get it done the right way. Because if I would have waited, I could be not sitting here even today.
She could walk. She didn't need a wheelchair. Those were the big aha moments. Not often many people get to leave on with life walking out. And she was one of those. And so that in itself speaks highly to like her recovery process, how motivated she was, and how much we could help push her in her recovery.
I was stubborn growing up, and I was stubborn as an adult, and I'm still very stubborn. And I think my stubbornness helped me get through. Therapists pushed me, and then I pushed myself too, because I'm like, I'm stubborn. I'm like, I'm a redhead, I gotta do this. I agreed to share my story mainly because I know I'm kind of the rarity of 37 years old to have a stroke, and also to have such a young child when I had my stroke. So I figure if I can share my story and maybe help someone else, that's my goal out of it.